Today we're changing the transfer case fluid in the 2021 Nissan Titan, the non-XD. We don't need a whole lot to do this, just the fluid, which is actually ATF fluid. It is D3M ATF fluid, and that's going to be specific to the transfer case. The actual transmission does not use D3M, so make note of that. We're just going to use a drain pan. We're going to use a transfer pump. We're going to use a torque wrench, a socket wrench with an 18mm socket. It's going to be simple. Basically, all we're going to do is we're going to take this transfer fluid pump and we are going to put it into the bottle, and we're going to pump that fluid out of the bottle into the fill port on the transfer case. So we're going to grab our socket wrench with that 18mm socket, and let's get to it. We'll take all this under the truck and get going. So now we're under the truck. We are going to go ahead and drain out the old fluid. You see here's the transfer case, and the plug that's closest here where my finger is, that's the drain plug, and then a little bit higher up, that one there, right there, is going to be the fill plug. Now we want to make sure that we loosen the fill plug first before we open the drain plug. And that's because if we empty this drain plug, we take that drain plug out and we empty all the fluid, and then we happen to not be able to get that fill plug out, if it's stuck, then it's going to cause a problem, because we're going to have our transfer case be empty and not able to refill it using this plug. So we're just going to loosen the fill plug, make sure that it can come out, and then we will remove the drain plug, that one on the bottom there, and let all the old fluid out. Make sure you have your drain pan in place, maybe some paper towels for any mess. So we're going to loosen both plugs with the ratchet, loosen them only. We're not going to open the drain plug all the way until we make sure that that fill plug can be loosened. So we're going to do that with the wrench. We're going to confirm that that the fill plug can be removed with your hand. And once that's done, sorry about the camera wiggliness, once that's done, we're going to go ahead and start loosening that drain plug the rest of the way, and you'll see the fluid start to pour out. So here we go, we're turning the plug, it's almost out, and there you see the fluid coming out. The fluid is actually pretty decent looking. It's just that it's been in there for at least a year, so I wanted to go ahead and change it. We're gonna wait for probably about 10 minutes. This is gonna slow to a drip, and we want as much of that fluid to drip out of there as possible. And what we can do while we wait on that to finish dripping is go ahead and take that fill plug out too, get a wire brush and maybe some water and clean those plugs, scrub them and clean them up. And then we're gonna get some thread sealant and put the thread sealant on the drain plug. I'm not gonna do the fill plug. So there's a thread sealant. We're just gonna put some of that on there, and that will keep leaks from occurring. Also, while we're waiting on the fluid to finish draining out, we can prep our bottles. So you can see I took the lids off, I broke the seals. I'm gonna go ahead and get the fluid transfer pump, and we'll get it secured onto the first bottle. We're gonna use all of the first bottle, and then maybe a little more than half of the second bottle. I think the spec is 1 5/8 quarts for the non-XD model. So that fluid pump is there. We're gonna put this end is gonna go into the fill port on the transfer case, and then we're just gonna pump the fluid from the bottle through the hose into the fill port of the transfer case. You're just gonna pump it just like you would a bottle of soap. We'll go ahead and put the lid on this other bottle and take it with us. We'll just putting the lid on so that there's no spills on the way to the truck with it. But we're going to bring it under the truck with us, so that when we're done with this first one, then we can move that pump over to the second one. It'll already be right there. So we're gonna go ahead and take these bottles over to the truck, and we'll get started on filling the transfer case with the fluid. Now, I do not have video of this, but you see that the drain plug is back on there already. But before you start adding fluid into there, make sure you get that drain plug back on there. Where the fill port up here is where we're gonna put the hose for the transfer pump. So we're just gonna grab the end of the hose that is not attached to the pump, and we are gonna go ahead and push it into the fill port on the transfer case. There we go. So we're just gonna push that into there, and then what we're gonna wanna do is hold on to the hose with one hand so that it doesn't come out and make a mess, and then we'll hold the bottle and pump it with the other hand. I'm gonna spare you the boringness of watching me pump this bottle for 20 minutes, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So once you have the hose in place, just grab onto it. You can see I've started to pump a little bit. You can see the fluid starting to enter the hose. It's gonna go all the way up and into that fill port once you keep pumping. Okay, so I've been pumping for a while, and this bottle is now empty, so we're ready to make the switch to the second bottle. You can tell it's empty because, one, you can see in the window that it's empty, and two, you can see that there are air bubbles in the hose. So this one is pretty much all the way empty. We're not gonna worry about squeezing every last drop out of this bottle because we're not gonna use all of the second bottle anyway. So we'll go ahead and switch bottles now, and then we'll combine the bottles. We'll drain what drops are left in this one into what's left of that second bottle once we're done and once we are out from underneath the truck. So we're gonna unscrew the pump from this bottle, and we're gonna get that second bottle and bring it over here. You want some paper towels or something because there's still fluid in the hose and we don't wanna make a mess. Once you're ready, go ahead and make that switch to the second bottle and then start pumping. And you're going to use probably a little more than half of what's in that bottle, but you are going to pump on that second bottle until you see fluid coming out of the fill port to let you know that it's full. And you can see here fluid is dripping out. That tells us that it's full. It took me a little bit more than 5/8 of that second quart to get it all the way full, but that's okay. We see that it's dripping out here, so it's done, it's full. We're ready to pull this hose out of here and get that fill port plug back on. We're gonna tighten that up. I think we're gonna do 22 to 29 foot-pounds of torque, and the same for the drain plug, by the way. And once you clean up, you're all done.